Hi everybody, we are going to go over how to do lesson 5. You're going to want to take notes. So if you need to pause the video right now, pause it, get out paper and pencil so you can take some notes on this stuff. You're going to want it for the next few days for the stuff you're going to do. Plus, this is just something that's really important. You need to know that you're going to use this next year. You're going to use it the following year. You're going to use it for a while. So make sure that you know what you're doing here. Email me with questions if none of this makes sense when you're done. All right, lesson 5. It's all about slope-intercept form of an equation for a line. Okay, slope-intercept form. This part for an equation for a line is kind of a given. What we're doing is we are writing equations that represent lines on a graph. The equation in slope-intercept form will always look like this. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. I said it to you one time in class before we left. I said, oh, you guys are totally going to know what that means. Well, guess what? Today's the day. Y equals mx plus b. The y and the x are the coordinates of every single point on a line. So if you have the point 1, 1, and you have the point 2, 2, and you have the point 3, 3, this y could be a 1, this y could be a 1, or this y could be a 2, or this y could be a 3. This x could be this 1, or it could be this 2, or it could be this 3. When this y is this 1, then this x has to be this 1 because we're saying this is a point that's on this line. We're saying for this x and this y, if we put them in there, whatever the rest of it would be is going to end up being an equation for that line. Because these change, they are variables. Yay, variables. Variables means it varies, it changes. Those numbers are those letters are gonna stay x and y. Every time we write the equation for a line in slope-intercept form, y will be y and x will be x. What's gonna change is the m and the b. Remember, m is slope. So once you find the slope, you're just going to plug it in right there. B is the y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, so if this is my, oh, this pen's not very good. Let me find a better one. If this is my graph and my line goes like this, let's say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here is where the line crossed the graph, crossed the y-axis. That means this point would be the y-intercept, okay? This is called the x-intercept. We are not going to deal with that ever this year, okay? Don't worry about it. We are not worried about the x-intercept. We're only worried about where it crosses the up and down line. Sometimes people get that mixed up, and then that's a problem. Okay, so if you have not written down yet y equals mx plus b, write down y equals mx plus b, m being the slope, b being the y-intercept. If you need to rewind and do that, do it. Otherwise, I'm going to go on. This little tray thing is driving me nuts. All right. We need to keep that in our mind all the time while we're working on this. Okay, so if that's true, we're going to take a look at some equations, and we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept in each one. Well, if m is the slope, y equals m, that means in this particular equation, the slope is 1/2. mx plus b. Well, in this equation, the b is 5, so the y-intercept for this line would be 5. Pretty simple? Okay, let's see if we can find it in the next one. We've got y equals m. This is my m, -3. Yes, you need the negative. What kind of slope is this going to have? It's going to have a negative slope. It's going to end up going down, right? Y equals mx plus b. Uh-oh, I don't have a plus b. I have a minus b. What do I do? -7, because really this is plus -7. That means that this line where it crosses the y-axis is way down here at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would cross way down here at -7. Okay, the next one. Y equals, there is no number there. There's just a negative sign. Well, you know there's a number there. It's a negative what? Invisible number 1. So the slope on this one is going to be -1, and then the b is going to be 2. How about for this one? I think I must have brushed that. The slope on this one, y equals m. Slope's going to be 4. X plus b, oh, we got another negative, so we're going to have -1/2. So on this one, it wouldn't cross right on a where the two lines cross, where the x and y cross. It's going to cross the y-axis at -1/2. Okay, if you need to go back and go over that again, do it, because it's going to be on your lesson 5 assignment. All right, so now we're going to do the opposite. Now instead of them giving us the equation and we have to give them the slope and the y-intercept, you get the slope and the y-intercept. You have to make the equation. Well, here's the easiest way to do it. We will always have y being y, equal being equals, and x being x. So we can put that down for everyone. Y equals a little bit of space, x. Y equals a little bit of space, x. Y equals a little bit of space, x. We can put those down because it's always going to look like that. Now all we have to do is plug in the m and the b. The m in this one is 2. Y equals mx plus b plus 6. Ta-da! I wrote an equation for a line. Yay! How about this one? Y equals m. M is 1. X plus b. Well, the plus b, it's plus -3, right? Well, I can fix that up a little bit. So I'm going to rewrite this one. Y, woo, everything flew all over the place. All right, y equals, I don't need that 1 coefficient out front, do I? Nope, so I can just put x. And I don't need a plus sign when I have plus minus, I just need the minus sign. So on this one, my answer would be y equals x minus 3. On this one, my m is 1/2. So y equals, here's my m, 1/2 x plus b. Well, plus 0. If I add 0 to something, do I get anything? No, don't put it there. Just leave it out. So my whole equation for that one's just going to look like that. It's a little bit shorter, isn't it? And then finally, y equals m, -4, x plus b, -7. Okay, if you need to go back over that, rewind it and go back over it. I'm going to move on. All right. You might end up with an equation, let me erase this, that looks like this. Either one of those two. We're just going to look at the first one. Okay? Look at that compared to that. Does this say y equals mx plus b? No. This says y equals b plus mx. Well, that's wrong. You have to get it turned into the correct form. So y is still going to go here. Equals is going to go here. We know that right after the equals, we need the mx, right? Well, what part of this is the mx? This part is, remember, the sign goes with what it's in front of. So we bring this over here. And the sign goes with what it's in front of. This is my b, or my constant part of my equation. And now I'm in the right form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, we're going to try this other one. Same thing, it's mixed up. We got to get it in the right form. So y stays y and equals goes here. Then we're going to take this part, -1/2 x. And what are we going to do with that? Well, on this one there was a negative sign. That was easy to figure out to put -9. But here, remember, positive signs are invisible if that's just right in front of it and there's nothing else in front of that. So we just have to put the +2 there. Okay? Any questions on that? Text me, not text me, email me, or go back over it. All right. Another thing we might be given is we might be actually given a graph, and we have to find the equation. Well, the easiest way to find the equation is to first find the m and then find the b. So the m is the slope. So I'm going to go from this point to this point. I went up 1 and I went over 2. So my m is 1/2. And where does it cross? 1, 2, 3. It crosses at 3. It's a positive 3. Oh, that's really bad. A 3. Well, now we have exactly what we had on these last ones. Oops. On these last ones. Nope. On these last ones. Yeah. Where we're given the slope and we're given the y-intercept, then we just can make the equation. Well, now we've given ourselves the slope and the y-intercept, so we can write the equation. We know y, we know equals a little space in the x. What goes in front of that space? 1/2, because that's my m. Y equals mx and then plus b plus 3. And there's my answer. All right, let's try another one like that. So our slope is, let's go from this point to this point. We go down 1, 2, 3, and we go over 1. So we went down 3 and we went over 1. -3 over 1, we can just write -3. Okay, anything over 1 you know is just itself. Where does it cross the y-axis? Down here. That's a -1. And now we can write our equation. I'm not going to write it on that line. I don't feel like I have enough room. So I have y equals mx plus b. Well, it's a negative number, so I'm going to put -1. And there we have our equation. Let's do another one. All right. Let's go from this point to this point. We went down 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went down 4 over 5. So we have -4 over 5 for our slope. Ooh, 4 over 5. This marker is like really not good for writing in narrow spaces. The b, where it crosses, is 0. Should I write 0? Yes, 0's a number. 0's a number. Yes, write it down. Okay, so my equation, I'm going to write it up here, is y equals m, -4 over 5, x, plus b, plus 0. When I add 0, do I need to write that down? No. What I'm talking about, is there a y-intercept? Yes, there's a y-intercept. It crossed right there. Don't leave it blank. It did not cross. It did cross right there at 0. But to put plus b here is not necessary. So there's my equation. Okay, we got 2 tricky guys here. What if you have a horizontal line? All right, let's pick any 2 points. We'll pick this point and this point. How much did we rise? Well, 0. How much did we run? 1. 0 over 1. Is that killing the bear? No, that's not killing the bear. The bear can hold the ball on his head. He just can't stand on top of the ball. So that's not killing the bear. So that's good to go. What is 0 divided by 1? Well, if I have 0 pieces of candy and I give that much candy to one person, how much did they get? That's right, 0. So the slope on this is 0. Okay, where is the y-intercept? Right here. -1, -2, -3, -4. -4. So how do I write the equation? Well, m is 0, right? So y equals mx plus b. Well, it's a -4, so I'll put -4. Well, anytime you multiply by 0, what do you get? 0x. 0 times x is 0. Do I need to even put it in there? Nope. So the answer to this is going to be y equals -4. Now, there There is a way to remember this, but I think sometimes it gets confusing. That if you go across the y-axis, if you have a horizontal line and it's crossing the y-axis, you're going to get y equals wherever it crosses. Sometimes that gets confusing, so if you can always go through this and you know that 0 times x is 0, you can always get here. If you can't remember, I crossed only the y-axis. I crossed it at -4, so y equals -4. What if we have a vertical line? Well, we'll do the same thing. A vertical line is a line with no slope. Because if we went from here to here, I'm sorry, yeah, it's a no slope, that's right. Here to here is -1, and we didn't go over any. That's killing the bear, so it's a no slope or undefined. Well, how are we going to put that in our equation? We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see, where did it cross the y-axis? Well, it's not going to cross the y-axis, so it's not going to cross the y-axis. So how are we going to write an equation? Well, we got y equals, it's undefined. There is no m. X, there is no b. What are we going to do? Well, let's go back and look at this one. Remember I told you that when we cross the y-axis, we can just call it y, and it's not going to continue going and run into the x ever. It's only going to be horizontal and cross the y. We can just write down, hey, I crossed the y. Where did I cross it at? -4. Well, let's use that same philosophy here. What did I cross? I crossed the x-axis. So x is going to equal, where did I cross it at? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. In this case, -5. There is no y because y isn't involved in this. We're never going to use that. Okay? So, horizontal line crosses y. We get y equals the number where it crosses. Vertical line crosses x. We're going to get x equals the number where it crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. And that's it for lesson 5. It's a lot. It's about a 20-minute video that I just made. It's a lot. Watching it once is probably not going to do it for you. Take notes. I'm giving you a couple of days to do this before we go on. This is important. Okay? All right, good luck with everything. See ya. Email me, all that good stuff. Happy day.